latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new product from Vango. So with me today I've got the Vango Ventanas 2 650 XL. So I say brand new, what they've done is Vango really kind of almost redeveloped the Ventanas as we know it to sort of match the new Ventanas TC version. So what we've got is you've got the choice of having a polyester or a polycotton with the same spec throughout, so that works really well. So this does differ to the previous Ventanas in terms of some of its features and its flexibility, so they've made some really nice improvements to it. With me here, what we essentially got is a really nice big family 6-man tent, inflatable, quick and easy, and it sits in kind of Vango's kind of elite collection, so it's their top of the range polyester models. It sits alongside things like the Soneva, the Ventanas, obviously, and then the Anatara. So it's all in that really nice high-end collection that's for the customer who wants the top-end quality, top-end features, and lots of flexibility, and that's where it fits in really nicely. So we've got here essentially it's a 3-zone tent, or you can argue 4-zone. We've got a really nice big sleeping, living, front sort of awning area, and also more importantly a side pod which is built on as standard. So that's one of the unique features certainly of the Ventanas in terms of its design. If you've already got built on storage, which is perfect for sort of storage wardrobe space, alternatively as a little sort of toilet section. So with the kind of elite collection, we've got a really nice strong 150 denier material. You've also got that color lock built into it, so it's got the kind of help with kind of color retention and give it sort of an appearance of looking sharper for longer, more importantly, as well as kind of the way they've done the material. It's kind of got a little bit more, probably give a little bit more lifespan to it than we would probably expect with a normal 150D. Waterproof to sort of 5,000 ml high-sheet heads. It's a really nice strong waterproof rating, and again it's the details in this that I really do like. Things like you've got aluminium poles rather than fiberglass, and it's not only for the brow canopies we see here, but even the side pod, and it's all in that very premium kind of feel. It's worth mentioning it's not this long. We've got the front canopy, which is an optional extra on this, so really the tent starts here backwards, and if you wanted to see kind of the TC version, that's probably more of a, well, that's the tent on its own, so you can compare and contrast between that, and we'll kind of come around to that later on in the video just to give you a bit more of a better idea. So what we can almost do here is we've got some features that I think are worth pointing out. So we've got a rain-safe canopy door built into the front awning section. Now, what this allows you to do is come in and out of the sort of front awning section without having to worry about the rain coming in. Secondly, if the weather's chopping and churning quite a bit, it means you can leave this whole mesh door open all the time, and again, haven't got to worry about rain coming in when the ventilation. So you can have airflow directly in, the rain lid comes down and then distributes itself around the actual tent rather than going directly in it. It's air, so it's quick and easy to pitch. So the whole tent, you can see from my own Attwoolls pitching packing video, took me no longer than about 13 minutes to do. So it means it's all perfect kind of going away for a week, or arguably you can get away for a weekend. Whereas this differs in terms to its sort of bigger brother, should we say, with the TC, it's made from the polyester material, as we talked about. Now, polyester is perfectly fine for the UK weather, you can get away with it, and from a price point of view, it's a bit more affordable. It is that conversation whether polyester versus polycotton. Now, polycotton is a breathable fabric, polyester is not, so you do get a little bit more condensation with this, but in terms of its pack size and pack weight, it's a little bit more lighter and packs down a little bit smaller as well. So it has its pros and cons, and like I said, for the UK market, we can just about get away with polyester, although polycotton does have its benefits. We've got separate videos on comparing and contrast to which you can always have a look at. The front area is completely enclosed, which you can't really see from the front canopy, and as you can see, we do have optional extras you can add onto the front of it. So even though it's a very generous tent in its own right, you can actually buy either something like this with the front canopy, which are roof sides and Airbeam. You can buy a sun canopy, which is just literally a pole and a roof, or you can buy a physical front awning, which is almost like bolting on the whole front of the tent on again. So lots of flexibility in there and making it bigger if you wish to do so, as well as a side extension you can buy if you really wanted to. For me, what I do like about the Ventanas is that we've got updated things like the tinted windows now in this. So again, it helps with that real premium kind of feel and sits into line with the likes of the Anatara. Each beam, like I said, is done individually rather than kind of the single point inflation, and that helps really to kind of keep the cost down to a bit more affordable. So if you look at where this sits in relation to maybe the Anatara, whether the 450 or the 650, its price is very keen, and again, same sort of spice, same sort of side, and the additional storage pod built onto it. So you're getting a really good value for your money in comparison to this. And again, if you change it, have a look at other brands from the likes of Attwoolls and that sort of thing as well, or Dometic. I think again, value-wise, that's the one thing I think for me that kind of tips the hat to this in this particular model. Spec is where we see it everywhere. So we've got low level ventilation points to help with increased airflow to make it a bit cooler on the inside, and also again help fight condensation. We've got webbing storm straps located all the way around the tent to get that extra sort of level of security. So it really beefs it up quite nice and neatly. Each of which have its own kind of retainer to keep it nearly nice and easy there. So you haven't got to worry about having guy ropes being tangled up to one another, and you've got adjustment points as well. So again, you haven't got to repeg it. You can merely tweak it if the guy line slips. Down the bottom, we've also got the same kind of webbing strap, so again with a really nice kind of D plastic clip, so you can get additional tension quite nice and simply. And because you've got a Sony ground sheet in the main section, it's really nice and easy to get it all looking pucker. The storage pods, as we can see here, sits really well. Even that's got its own kind of webbing straps located there, and doesn't actually come when you have the footprint, the guidelines pitched out. It's not really exceeding that far out, so really it will fit within your normal kind of standard pitch in that sense. I'll tell you what, let's kind of have a walk around the model, look straight down the front of it and talk for a load more features, and one feature in particular that's probably my favourite addition to the new Ventanas 2. So now we're looking directly down the front of the Ventanas. You can probably appreciate for sort of the overall length of it, and it almost, to be fair, it was also the three sections you got in the actual tent itself. So we'll kind of start at the front and work our way back, talking through all the features as we kind of go. So one of the things I'm probably most excited about with the new addition for the Ventanas 2 is this new multi-function front door. What this actually allows you to do is create a bug barrier directly at the front of the tent, as well as still in every single zone you find. So you've got a mesh door, a mesh partition really in the main living area, in the side door, and now right at the front. So again, it's a very premium feature you don't really see too often with other brands. So again, it makes it stand out. Now what's really nice about it is the fact that from this point here, you've got the flexibility. So you can either use this as a mesh panel, as we can see it here. You've then got the ability, if you wanted to kind of seal yourself up, is you've got a really nice PVC window that just zips up to behind it. So it means you get the level of privacy. And again, it's a really nice kind of tintiness to it. So we'll bring that up. So that way you've got your weather tight scenario, you still get visibility out onto it. And then what you can really do again, if you want complete privacy as well as obviously the weather tightness, there's zip curtains behind that keeps it all really nice and tidy. So again, you can get complete closure in the whole front of the tent, and it's the same with both sides of the panels. If, for example, you wanted the flexibility of having airflow but still privacy, you would just take the middle layer down. So the middle layer zips directly down. You can then roll the PVC kind of window back into where it was. There's a little sort of toggle retainer point down there as well to keep it all nice and neatly at bay. And then you haven't got to worry about it. And then the curtain then goes up behind it. So again, you have airflow, but also level of privacy. So when you want to leave a site and it's going to be a nice day, you can obviously still retain that kind of privacy level, but still have the air coming into it. So when you come back, it's not an absolute sauna inside. The door itself works really smartly, and you can actually, to be fair, open it from sort of left to right or right to left as you see fit. For me, I kind of feel this way we kind of do it, where we sort of open it from right to left, creates a really nice corridor that marries up with a middle door. So I see this is how you'd kind of use it, but you've got lots of flexibility. There's also multiple zip pullers on there, so you want to create a little veranda kind of effect. You can drop that down, have it across the whole way, have air directly in if you wanted to. But for me, because you've got that kind of mesh door, it's something you can do if you wanted to, but I would kind of utilize that more than anything. What we're going to do now, which I do like, is you can zip the whole door, like I said, either from left to right or right to left if you really want to. You have it either bundled in a big nice pack directly here, or what you can do is kind of put it down all the way to the bottom and roll it up and stick it in the corner. For me, when you're being lazy, that's a really nice bonus to have. You've also got little things like retainer clips on here, so it means it takes the weight off the things like the zips. So when you're pulling things to it, again, it's small little details like that that really do help to make it kind of what it is. So we drop that all the way down. We can then, rather than roll it up into a big kind of wedge, what we'll do is undo that, And we're just going to roll it across. Tuck it in the corner, and then we've got almost a perfect kind of open front canopy, so we can bring the outside directly in. You've got a ground sheet included with the normal version as standard, so you've got that sort of waterproof bottom, and again it toggles into the main corners and kind of designed to overlap a little bit, so it kind of feels more like a sunning ground sheet, but you've got the flexibility of taking it out or even having it sort of fold it over halfway to have that sort of wet dry area before coming into your main nice living area of the tent. The front awning section is really quite sort of great in terms of size. You can more than happily sort of have like a table and chairs out here on a nice day, or alternatively like a cooking unit in here, so you obviously have your main kind of cooking section before going into your living area. Height-wise in here, it's pretty boastful. You know, I'm about 6'2", can stand up pretty much more than happily dead centre, and because of the kind of villa construction of the beams, even in the corner sections, I can stand up right to the edge, which is brilliant because it means things like furniture, for example, can actually go right up to the corners. That way you're fully maximising your internal space. So even though it's, say, a 440 width, it feels a lot bigger just because it's very boxy rather than the angles and losing the space down low. Often with other manufacturers you find, you've got to kind of allow for the slope coming directly in, so straight away you're eating into your main living area, and that's one of the main benefits kind of this Ventanas and design is, you know, you've got space more than you think, which is, yeah, again, like I said, a really nice big bonus. The front section, we've also got a window located on the side, again with a zip-up curtain, so you get kind of full coverage as and when you see. And again, with that sort of tinted window style, you get a very sort of premium feel, but that little bit of privacy while still allowing visibility directly out. Mesh door on the side, which we've talked about, again, that's going to be a rain-safe kind of door directly in. The middle door between coming into the living area here, you've got, again, this mesh panel built in. Curtains zip up again to get that level of privacy, but you can open it up again. This only opens up from one side to the other. If you want to completely seal up, of course, you've got a door located here as well, and there's a zip running along the top and along the bottom to get that ultimate seal that allows you to create a seamless kind of flow from one side to the other. And again with this, you can simply roll the door back and toggle it back. So suddenly you have one big living area. And if you take it in the example where we've got the front canopy or front awning on the front, where you're going to do most of the cooking, suddenly this whole area becomes one big open space. The lip here can drop down, so you have no trip hazard in and out of the main body of it. So again, it helps to really help and flow it directly in. When we're in the kind of main living, it was a really nice two-bayed area, enough room for a more happier table and chairs. And again, by taking that division door out, even when it's cooking, it's a very kind of communal and social place to be. Either side of kind of the main body here, we've got PVC windows, again with zip curtains, and the curtains themselves, because they're zip, you've got the flexibility of bringing it up halfway or sort of fully up to the top to get the ultimate amount of privacy. They're easier to manage and use, so again, we can have a little bit of air light into it, privacy down bottom, failing that, take it fully up to the top to get that privacy where we want to. Low level ventilation, as we talked about, to keep that airflow on either side. The side door we've got here, again, has got full mesh to it, so you have that breathability coming in, again with that bug-free barrier when you've got a light on in night. And opposite the door, we've got that whole storage section, which again is the Ventanas' kind of swan song, and where it's different to, say, other ranges in this category. So it's perfect sort of area for sort of putting a wardrobe unit, quite nice and neatly, and means you can declutter the main sort of living area and have it as for living rather than for clutter. For me, I do like the idea of also putting maybe a little kind of portable toilet in there. Just means that when your kids wake up in the middle of the night and go to loo, it's inside the tent, obviously monitored. But rather than going in the middle of the night to a toilet block, you know, find the torches, get the slippers on, that sort of thing. So for me, that works really well. Vango have unique features that they put into this tent, things like the TBS systems, it stands for tension band. So what this really does, it's a way of giving internal bracing on those windier days. Something they've used in their high-end backpacking tents and filtered down into their more kind of family tent range as well. Something they've done for years and years and years. It does work, and people can probably testament to that. It's something you probably only use as and when you need it, rather than leave it in all the time. You leave it in tent for a little while, pop it in, give that extra bit of stability. So if, say, the wind's coming from this direction, what it's going to do is just kind of brace this point in here and give that a bit more stability, like a triangle formation from the top out to the sides, with kind of the guide points. When you don't want to use them, simply unclip them. You can then just roll them directly down into a little pocket down here, rather than sort of strangling yourself on them. But for those who've used it, you can probably testament to it. And you don't want them too tight, it's only a little bit loose, so it doesn't mean you're not trying to ratchet them down as such. It's just for a little bit additional support, rather than sort of changing the shape of the actual tent itself. You've got, like I said, Vango's supersized beams. They're 13cm beams, really nice and beefy as well, and that helps with the villa construction as well as stability. Each beam is the same length, so again, like we said, you can change it in the tent as well. So if you had wanted to change one with another, you can more than happy to do that. And if you have a spare tube as well, it serves your purpose regardless of what tube, if you do have failure, where it goes. And a sort of sleeping area at the back here, it's divisioned into 3 main zones. So we've got kind of a 2, 2 and a 2. We've got zip dividers between all the sections, and it means you get the flexibility of having, it feels like a separate bedroom from each, but you can open it all up, so you have it's a 4 and a 2, a 2 and a 4, and do what you want to do with it. In terms of measurement size, we find we've got a 120, a 160 and a 140 bedroom. So each will basically take 2 people. Admittedly, you're probably a little bit tighter on that side, but it's still better than most manufacturers. But the middle bedroom is really going to be your main master bedroom, the 160 size. Take your camp beds, high-rise air beds, or a side table for the adults. The whole bedroom depth is actually deeper than you'd normally find. It's about 2.5 meters, which is more than anything else really on the market, and it's really to allow those kind of camp beds and high-rise air beds or even bunk beds to fit in the actual bedroom section, which you don't normally get. And it's because it's a slope off the back, it's where you normally fall short. Because you've got a little bit of extra depth, it can accommodate for that, and you can have something a bit taller off the ground and not have to worry about it's going to fit in the inner and not have to move it sideways. The front door also is located with a mesh panel at the front here to help with increased airflow, which is obviously very crucial being the polyester version, as well as we've got high level ventilation points at the top there as well. We've got little details like storage pockets built into the pelmet as well to help declutter the main tent. And you've got storage pockets inside the inner as well for things like keys, phones, torches, and that sort of thing as well. And because it's their midnight bedrooms, it's really nice and dark that hopefully you're going to not wake up with the early morning light and the kids staying a little bit longer. So then that works well. And because you've got the ventilation point at the front, if it's a little bit too dark for them, you can pop that down, have some light coming into the tent as well, just to kind of make it a bit more manageable so they can get to sleep happily. What we'll do, let's kind of bring the camera in actually, and we can talk for a load more features around the tent to get a bit more of a feel up close to the Ventanas. So, as you can see, we've got the canopy located on here. So really the tent starts from this point here. So you've got the canopy section here. We've got a table in place. You see how much room there really is there. You know, plenty of room. Ground sheet works really smartly. And you can probably see the baffle of how it overlaps to kind of give you a bit more of a better seal. Rain safe canopy door on the sides we talked about. And because we put that door directly down, you can see how that's really nice open canopy. And then we've got things like that hanging point, as we previously mentioned, to help with the doors, and oversized zips as well, just to kind of give a bit more support and a bit more ruggedness to it all. The main kind of living area, really quite smart. Even when you've got sort of like a bench set directly in, you've still got tons of room around it. There's a little lug point down in the centre of it. So if you want to put a bedroom into that section, you can more than happy to do so. So you sleep up to 8 people inside a tent. For me, you probably take it down during the daytime, just so you can maximise your internal space. So that works really smartly as well. And then also got tinted windows with the low level ventilation points below there. From this side we see we've obviously got the storage pod, which is brilliant for sort of, like I said, the wardrobes. It's got its own little vent as well, and complete with its own curtain. So you can either decide to separate off from the main living area, so you haven't got to sort of be outside, out of mind whatever is in there, or you take the curtain off completely and have it a bit more of a kind of in the area itself. If you want to, put a couple of chairs in there quite happily as well. Bedroom section, as we talked about, really nice and dark. As you can see, you've got little ventilation points at the top to help with airflow. And again, hopefully gives you a really good night's sleep. Storage pockets built into it, if you can possibly see through the darkness. Probably not. And then divisional curtains, a sort of really nice darkness as well. And a zip divider located. That's probably too dark, to be fair. It doesn't help when you're inside. But again, you know, works really nicely. You've got cable entry points as well, located behind the bedrooms, so down the bottom here. You have your main socket cable coming directly in. So you've got one sort of to the right, one there in the main living area, and then you can utilise the one on the front door down here. So it doesn't matter what way the main hookup's coming into, you can accommodate it. You've got Vango's unique SkyTrack system as well, so being to hang a point lantern anywhere along the bead. So we've kind of put a lantern located directly there, and that is situated in every single beam. So you can even have it to have storage pockets running off down the bedroom section. So again, it helps to sort of declutter the main part of the tent. And we've got a little kind of setup video, kind of like ideas of how you could sort of chop and change, or how you could set up your tent. And we use the Ventanas for that video, so that works really well. You've got little cable entry points directly in, so you run the cable from inside into the main awning area, which again has its own kind of SkyTrack system, which works really well. It's worth mentioning the previous Ventanas in the polyester, the divisional door was always fixed, so having this ability of actually opening up the section works really well. So again, I think that's a really nice kind of extra addition. In fact, let's go around the tent as well, just give a bit more of an idea. So we've got the front canopy, which was zipped onto it itself. When you're looking at it without the front canopy, it's going to look something a bit like this. So this is the TC version I've got directly next to it. So again, it kind of gives you a bit more of a better idea about it. As we kind of come directly around, got the rain safe canopy on the side, and then we've got the little storage pod with its own sort of storm straps located there, and then the alloy pole, again, to kind of keep that kind of premium feel. Good sort of ventilation points at the back, again, get really sharp, and there's not many sort of maybe storm straps, which it's double done, so this means you have less points to peg, but you still get the equal amount of tension into it. And as we kind of come out from it, you can see the overall size. Admittedly, the end section over here is kind of that front extension, but you can see how well it works. The tinted windows as well, you can see a bit into it, but like I said, it's not overly massive amount of detail. So all in all, I think it's a really nice model, something I think that arguably I would probably prefer over in comparison to the Anatara, just I think from a price point, what you pay for the space and size and the storage pod and things you get included with it, I think it's a cracking price. You've got enough room for happily 6 people, if not an extremely comfy 4 or 5, and you can obviously have the extra bedroom in here if you really wanted to kind of increase that capacity up. By all means, you have a look at our link below this video. It'll take you straight through the website. We've got more things like pack sizes, pack weights, floor dimensions, individual features all listed there. So everything we've kind of gone through this video should be quite easily handily there, as well as our own pitching and packing video. So there's a lot of information, so you can do your homework and see whether it's going to be the right product for you. But all in all, for me, I think it's a really great evolution of the Ventanas. Takes it up, like I said, in comparison to the TC, so they sit directly one aside one another, depending if you want the polycotton version or the polyester. And of course, like I said, check out that video if you wanted a bit more idea about the polycotton itself. But all in all, I think it's going to be a cracking tent. And it just ticks nearly every single box for me in terms of what I would want from almost my ideal tent, the way I'd have it and set up. So I think you can't probably recommend it more than that way. So yeah, that's our little video review on the brand new Ventanas 2 650 Air tent for 22 going forward.